Dragon Ball Evolution is the cancerous underbelly of the mega popular anime franchise, but in this cinematic court, it's innocent until proven guilty. Court is on session for a Kaioken x10 episode of Innocent Until Proven Guilty. Last week I stuck up for an underrated gem from my childhood, and today we're delving into the depths of hell to examine a movie that's quickly built up a reputation as one of the most abysmal excuses for a live-action adaptation ever created. The critics were unanimous that this was rotten to the core, and even the hardcore fanbase found this hard to swallow, but I'm gonna be fair and give it a clean slate. Without further ado, IUPG Movie Month concludes with the dreaded and disastrous Dragon Ball Evolution. 20th Century Fox and director James Wong teamed up to bring Akira Toriyama's classic creation to the big screen on April 10th, 2009. Filmgoers expecting the intense action and power level measuring competitions from the heyday of Toonami were immediately disappointed during the opening narration. Amidst the confusing talk of Mafubas and Ozarus were introduced to the protagonist via an extremely uncomfortable close-up. There's so much wrong with this that I don't even know where to begin. First off, the Ozaru wasn't a servant of King Piccolo. In fact, the Ozaru didn't even make an appearance in that arc of the anime. Secondly, and this is just a personal nitpick, but the slow motion sweating grosses me out. Lastly, this is supposed to be Goku? Are you kidding me? This pasty white scrawny good for nothing. Calm down, Matt. Must remain partial and keep an open mind. This isn't the Dragon Ball that I know and love. This is something completely different. I have to accept that. I must. Let's move on before I lose my cool. To make things easier for myself, I've decided to refer to the main character by the actor's name. Anyway, Justin Chatwin is your average teenager, or rather your average 27-year-old Canadian portraying a teenager. He practices martial arts and key manipulation with his grandpa Gohan, is awkward around girls, and gets bullied by the popular kids. Remind me again how this is supposed to be Dragon Ball? I understand that there are times when alterations have to be made to fit the story, but this completely goes against Goku's established personality. While the world's strongest warrior was indeed a teenager at this point in the manga, he didn't attend school, and he certainly didn't care about dating girls. Hell, he barely even knew that girls existed because he grew up in isolation on a frickin' mountain. We're less than 20 minutes into the film and they're already treating the source material like toilet paper. How the hell did this happen? I can't even. Enhance your calm, Matt. Enhance your calm. It couldn't possibly get worse than this, right? The basic setup for the plot is that Justin Chatwin is attracted to Chi-Chi, which is revealed in a corny daydream segment, and he finally talks with her after he opens her malfunctioning locker with his key. Get it? Key? The locker needed a key to be opened? You know, wordplay? Okay, I'll see myself out. Justin embarrasses himself in front of Chi-Chi, but this somehow impresses her and she invites him to a party. Chatwin sneaks out to have the night of his life and hang with the pretty girl of his dreams, but he senses danger when Piccolo pays Gohan a visit, and he's unfortunately too late to stop the tragic demise of his beloved grandfather. Credit where it's due, I've got to give props for not including the cliche "no" scream upon his passing. It's a very small touch and it doesn't correct the issues I previously mentioned, but at least it's something positive. In the wake of his grandfather's death, Justin Chatwin meets Bulma, the Dragon Ball tracker, and they agree to combine their efforts to gather the remaining orbs to stop Piccolo's plans for world domination. The first step of their journey is to find Master Roshi at the behest of Gohan in order to complete Chatwin's training, and the ensuing hijinks are par for the course. Chow Yun-Fat may not look like the turtle hermit from the show, but he does a really good job of capturing his essence. He's a cocky, horny pervert with a heart of gold, so what more could you possibly ask for? The trio resumes their quest and briefly runs into Chi-Chi, who turns out to be quite a badass fighter herself, before falling into a trap set by the bandit Yamcha. I'm surprising myself by saying this, but I actually really enjoyed Evolution's Yamcha. In fact, he might be my favorite part of the movie. He's basically Christopher Sabat's voice from the US dub come to life, which is perfect as far as I'm concerned. Yamcha joins of our heroes in true RPG fashion in spite of conning them for cash, and Piccolo sends some blood babies to a nearby volcano to cause a ruckus. This scene is stupid and terrible, but a small part of me can't help but love it. I mean, just look at this footage. Maybe I'm losing my mind, suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, or both simultaneously, but awkward Canadian Goku constructing a makeshift hopscotch court by hilariously tossing CGI creatures into lava is totally my spirit animal. With the majority of the balls collected, the gang travels to Toisan, where Justin reunites with Chi-Chi and Roshi has a confab with Sifu Norris. Ernie Hudson, no! They roped you into this too? I know you've got to make money somehow, but you're better than this, man. Show some integrity! Sifu Norris assists Roshi by preparing the Mafuba container to ensure Piccolo's defeat, while the sex-crazed master teaches his pupil the iconic Kamehameha, or at least the visual effects crew's interpretation of the signature attack. Justin Chatwin, the last airbender, has trouble honing the technique, but Chi-Chi uses the power of hormones to rile him up for the win. The following scene makes even less sense than the lava fiasco. Essentially, Mai steals the Dragon Balls by impersonating Chi-Chi via a blood sample obtained during the tournament, but I don't recall there being a section explaining how Mai knew to target Chi-Chi specifically to gain access to them. This to me is a huge expositional failure, but that isn't even the worst of it. The Chi-Chis collide and Justin is naturally confused upon witnessing the scuffle, resulting in him accidentally attacking the real deal and receiving a major wound from the imposter as she makes a clunky green screen escape from the premises. Canadian Goku is in bad shape, but Roshi works his magic and... Yes, the Kamehameha is apparently equivalent to an adrenaline shot to the heart in Evolution. If Roshi tried that in the manga, he'd blow a hole through Kid Goku's chest special beam cannon style. What the hell was the writer thinking? Did he even bother to read the source material? I sincerely doubt it, because this is a grave insult and I... Relax, Matt. Thank God we're almost at the end. The climactic encounter with Piccolo that follows is largely underwhelming. The Fiend attempts to summon the dragon and have his wish granted, but Roshi intervenes. Chatwin steps in to take down the Ozaru, but Piccolo drops the knowledge bomb that Canadian Goku and Ozaru are one shared entity sent from space to eradicate the human race. At the dawning of the eclipse, Justin Chatwin transforms into the laughably subpar CGI monstrosity and wreaks havoc upon everything in its path. Roshi seizes the opportunity to perform the Mafuba, but fails when the villain busts the vessel, causing a massive strain that ultimately takes the Noble Master's life, but he snaps his pupil out of his uncontrollable beast mode before he expires. The showdown that I guess we've all been waiting for finally takes place, and it features some decent choreography and a nice homage to the series, but it felt thin and hollow overall, and I was ready for the closing credits to roll. To summarize the conclusion, Roshi is revived with the Dragon Balls, the quest to track them down begins anew, and the picture closes on a Rocky 3-esque freeze-frame friendly battle between Chatwin and Chi-Chi. There's an excruciatingly long mid-credit scene revealing that Piccolo survived, but who cares about that because no studio executive in their right mind will ever greenlight a sequel to this train wreck. Dragon Ball Evolution is painful. It truly is, and there's very little that even I can redeem about it. Or is there? Let's find out in the breakdown! Oh my god, this frickin' movie! I try to be as understanding and lenient as possible for even the worst offenders, but this exceeded even my generous amounts of patience and tolerance, though there are admittedly a few ingredients in this toxic stew that I appreciated. I think that Roshi and Yamcha were perfectly cast, James Marsters was a suitable Piccolo, and I wasn't annoyed by Emmy Rossum's Bulma, which is more than I can say for the source material. However, that doesn't excuse the fact that this is a licensed adaptation, and as a licensed adaptation, Dragon Ball Evolution is piss poor. If this was something entirely original, there's a chance that I'd consider this to be a decent film, but as it stands, I'm left bewildered trying to wrap my head around how exactly this colossal screw-up came into existence. There are countless fan films on YouTube and across the internet proving that a live-action Dragon Ball can work, but the studio just wanted to earn a quick buck by sticking the finger to the fans and making a mockery of Toriyama's beloved creations, which is why I rule that the verdict is guilty! I'm foregoing the usual code of conduct because I couldn't in good conscience come up with any more redeeming traits than I already have, and I would be just wasting all of our time if I tried, because we all know this is guilty as sin. A few solid performances, wacky sequences, and accurate terminology do not a good film make, and I would strongly recommend staying far away from this despicable travesty. Anyway, now that I've gotten this cathartic rant out of my system, I'm going to take a week off for my birthday, but I'll be back with the return of the LJN Defender. Be sure to come back for that and to leave any suggestions for future trials in the comments below, but until then, court is now adjourned! Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw and you want to see more, the boxes on the screen right now will lead to some more of my videos, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking on my avatar in the bottom right hand corner. Thanks again.